On today's video, we're talking about how to get shredded for the summertime. Spring is here, and I know a lot of you are interested in getting shirt off shredded for the warm months ahead. And so in today's video, I want to break down my 6 tactics and strategies that will give you a new way of getting ripped this year that you may have not thought of before. In fact, I'll tell you, over the past few years, I've used these same exact methods to get leaner and leaner every single summer. My name is Josiah Novak. I run The True Transformation, and I've helped over 7,500 guys get in the best shape of their life over the past 15 years. So let's start with the first and easiest thing you can implement right now if you're trying to get lean for the warm months ahead. The first thing is weight vest and incline walking. Now, one of the core pillars that we talk about inside of our 3M fat loss system is movement. Movement is simply cardio, how much we move every day, the extra calories we burn through being more active. This is really, really important. Now, this is not new. Obviously, cardio is not a new concept, but there's a couple ways that we can make our walking way, way more effective and not have to walk more necessarily. The first thing is a weight vest. Now, as you start to lose weight, one of the cool strategies that I like to implement is for every 10 pounds that I drop, I add 10 pounds to a weight vest, and I try to wear my weight vest on my daily walks. I typically walk 10,000 to 12,000 steps a day. One of those sections of my walking, a big chunk of my walking, is getting outside and going for a walk around my neighborhood. That usually knocks out 3,000 to 4,000 steps. And what I've started doing is I'll wear a weight vest during those walks. This is going to do a number of things. Number one is it adds weight to my frame, so my body has to work harder to lose, to keep the energy up, to move and still be able to produce the same amount of energy while walking. As I lose weight, I'm also adding weight to the weight vest so that I'm still burning the same number of calories as I was when I'm a little bit heavier as I get lighter. Now, what this also does for me is it provides a little bit of intensity. Okay. So I know walking can feel kind of boring. You feel like you're not doing much. But one of the ways and quick and easy as fastest paths to feeling like you're pushing a little bit more is a weight vest. Now, there's another thing that I do with cardio that I want to share with you as well. I'm a huge fan of walking before and after my workout. Before my workout, I'll usually do a 10-minute warm-up walk where I'm just trying to get the blood flowing before I go lift weights. The other time of my workout is right after my workout. I usually do a 20 to 30-minute walk, depending on my time, right after I lift. My lifting sessions are not very long. We're going to talk about those in a minute. But one of the key fundamental things that I have inside my schedule is a warm-up and then a walk after. Now, what I'll do to increase the output of calories during those walks, instead of having to walk more, I simply walk on an incline. So normally, just during my, normal time where I'm not trying to lose weight, I'll just walk at a 3 and a 3.5 mile per hour pace, pretty steady, nothing crazy, just getting the blood flowing. When I'm trying to lose fat, I'll bump the incline up to 10, 12%. So I'm still walking for 10 to 20 minutes, but now the intensity has gone up quite a bit. So I start to burn more calories. Now, this doesn't result in massive overnight fat loss, but over the course of weeks and a couple months, this is a drastic uptick in calories burned. So instead of having to use more of your time, now your time is just used more effectively. Now, of course, you could combine these two elements. If you have access to a treadmill at home, or if you want to bring your weight vest to the gym, you could absolutely throw on the weight vest after your workout, walk on an incline with a weight vest on, and you're going to produce even more of a calorie burn. All we're trying to do here is maximize our time. Speaking of time, let's talk about a fasting schedule, because a lot of people don't understand fasting. They think it's like a magical tool. But the second thing that we're going to do to speed up fat loss during this summer shred is we're playing around with longer fasts. Now, if you're interested in fasting, by the way, I put together a whole guide. It's free for you. All you have to do is comment the word fasting, and I'll share my power fasting protocol 100% free. I'm actually posting it today as you're watching this video. So if you're watching in the future, you'll have it. But I'm posting it today inside of our free coaching community to help people understand how to implement fasting the right way if you're trying to lose fat. Because honestly, just fasting in and of itself is not magical. It's just a way to schedule out your calories. So if you prefer to eat more at certain times a day and not eat during certain times a day, it's a really good tool to stay consistent with your eating patterns. But I like to use fasting when I'm really dialed in for fat loss to push my calorie deficit even larger. Once again, I'm a busy dad of 2 kids. I coach sports. I have a wife and we go out all the time. We have fun. I don't have all this extra time to be in the gym or doing more cardio. So I have to push where I can. I have to pull the right levers to maximize my time and maximize my results. So what I like to do is I'll throw in a longer fast once a week. Sometimes it's 24 hours. So I'll eat, Sunday night at 7 p.m. and I won't eat again till Monday night at 7 p.m. But I keep that one meal really calorie controlled. So I'm creating a huge calorie deficit. Sometimes as I get deeper and deeper into the cut, I'll do a 36 to even 48-hour fast. And this is way more advanced. You have to understand how to control your appetite. There's tools and strategies, and I'll share some of them with you here, of course. But fasting for longer periods of time creates a much bigger calorie deficit in a shorter period of time. So that's really the name of the game. We're just trying to create a gap between the number of calories burned and the number of calories eaten. And I don't like to have to go low calorie for days and days on end. I prefer to eat bigger meals that are more satiating. So I'd rather have a day where I don't eat, maybe a day and a half where I don't eat, and then the rest of my week is pretty normal. I'm not feeling hungry. I eat foods that fill me up and make me feel good and that I also enjoy. Now, some of the tools I utilize during this longer fast are as follows. Number one is electrolytes. I always start my day with electrolytes. After my workout, I'll come home and have another serving of electrolytes. And then later in the afternoon, I'll also have some electrolytes just to make sure that my body is staying in a place of hydration and staying, mentally dialed in. It's easy when fasting to get really lethargic if you don't have proper electrolytes and hydration. So I make sure I supplement with that. The other thing I use is bone broth. Bone broth at strategic times, like the times where you're used to eating. If you're used to eating at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but you're pushing your fast longer today, having a little bit of bone broth, yes, it has a tiny little bit of calories, can tie you over. We're not trying to fast for religious purposes, right? Where, that's 0 calories, it's very strict. We're just trying to avoid, the normal amount of calories and keep our calories below, let's call it 25, 50 during that during that fasting stretch. Now, this might seem crazy to you, but I promise you, for me at least, it results in a significant amount of fat loss during the course of the week versus not fasting. So playing around with longer fasts is the second option when we're trying to get rid for summer. Now, the other thing I do with nutrition, and of course, if you follow me for any period of time, I'm a huge, huge fan of a balanced approach. It's got to be easy, it's got to be enjoyable, and it's got to be effective. But for short sprints, I like to utilize low carb. Now, why? Okay, a couple of reasons. Number one, going low carb will help you drop water weight, and it's a mental boost. Okay, so you're going to be like, okay, I just stepped on the scale and I'm down 3 or 4 pounds. Holy crap, like this is actually working. Your self-belief starts to go up. Your momentum starts to go in the right direction. You feel more motivated. And the other thing is when I lose water weight, my physique looks a lot tighter. Okay. So it's also very mentally exciting and a boost to see yourself in the mirror looking tighter. And you're like, all I had to do was cut some carbs and go down to 0. Now, initially with a fat loss plan, sometimes your appetite does some weird and funky stuff. So when we go low carb, this can actually help mitigate that. Going low carb in some people, and actually quite a few that I've worked with, can suppress appetite. Now, we don't go low carb for long periods of time. I'm talking for a week, 2 weeks, just to get the momentum. Now, when we reintroduce carbs, I do it strategically. I'm eating carbs, at meals that I don't really care how I, look in the mirror, like dinner time. So I wake up the next day, my glycogen is replenished. I'm ready to train after those carbs digested overnight. I'll have some fruit during the day because fruit is also very satiating. Apples, berries, that kind of stuff to just bring carbs back in a healthy way. I never go low carb for longer than, let's call it, a few weeks. It just doesn't work for me. My body thrives off of a balanced approach. And a lot of the guys I work with also feel the same way. In fact, I put together a whole protocol for just setting up basic nutrition inside of our free coaching group, along with that fasting program, that power fasting program. If you want that fasting program, just comment the word fasting. And if you want our nutrition booklet too, that just maps out really the basics around nutrition to understand how to set this all up, just comment meal plan and I'll make sure you get the link to the group so you get access today. Now, we're going to keep going here because I've covered a few things and I want to talk about some exciting stuff. And peptides is the next thing. Now, I'm not going to get too detailed here because, first of all, I'm not a doctor. I work with some amazing doctors inside of our team who service our clients, make sure their blood work is dialed in, make sure that they're utilizing all the tools at their disposal. One thing I'm playing around with this year is using peptides strategically. Now, where would I use peptides? Well, specifically around controlling my appetite and controlling just my overall mood, okay? Because peptides in some cases are very helpful when it comes to like that nootropic type of feeling. I like to feel steady when I'm on a cut. I like to be dialed in mentally. Now, I'm not using Ozempic, if that's what you're thinking. There's a lot of other peptides out there that, in my opinion, are more effective, healthier. I'm not saying don't use Ozempic. There might be some strategic cases for the use of that, but I would never jump into using peptides when my baseline is not dialed in. So keep in mind, I've been working out since I was 14 years old. I'm almost 40 now. And so it's been a long time. I've been dialed in with nutrition for the better part of the last 15 years, actually going on about 17 now. I really started to figure this all out at about 23 when I was 65 pounds overweight. Now, I don't use peptides up until now. So I'm giving you just the behind the scenes look of, hey, I think there's some exciting developing things here that are going to help us be healthier, live a longer period of time, stay leaner a lot easier, and just dial in our whole protocol using tools. Of course, understanding that my baseline is set. My movement, my muscle, and my meals are very, very consistent. So here's what I would suggest for you. You should totally check out our free peptide guide. I'm dropping that. I have that inside of our free groups. If you want information on that, just comment the word peptides. But peptides, when used strategically during a fat loss phase, can be massively beneficial for a lot of different reasons. And there's a handful of peptides that I think apply to some use cases to just help you stay mentally, physically, and, let's just be honest, motivated to stay on the path to get super lean. Because getting super lean isn't always easy. It can be very simple with the right system for the guys that are dead, set on getting it done. It can be much easier than probably the most crappy cookie cutter programs out there. I just think peptides are the future. So I'm being honest with you guys and sharing with you the insight that as I go into my summer shred this year, I'm going to be playing around with it, and I'll be happy to document the results. And by the way, if you have questions about peptides, drop them in the comments below. We're not editing this video. We're just straight shooter here, off the cuff, telling you the real deal. So drop the word peptides, or let me know what peptide questions you have in the comments. Do you think that it's something you're interested in, or are you just anti-peptides? Totally cool either way. Now, let's talk about lifting during a cut. One of the things I do is I cut back on my total volume. You might be thinking, when you get ripped, don't you want to work out more? And for me, the answer is no. I like to have a steady 3 to 4 weight training sessions that I know I can show up and do every single week. And I don't go crazy with volume. I'm not in the gym for an hour. I'm in the gym. Probably this morning I trained and I was in and out in 40 minutes, and I had a really thorough workout. But for you, it might be even less than that. We encourage our guys to even experiment with 15, 10-minute workouts. All right. And the reason for this is we're focused on strength. We're not focused on total volume. I'm not trying to get a record for sets and reps and all this stuff. I'm trying to get in and out of the gym, having gotten stronger progressively over time. Not every workout is going to be a PR. I'm not going to step foot in the gym super strong every single day, but the goal is to progressively get better at the exercises I've chosen. And they're very specific exercises. They're not fluff. They're there to train the big muscle groups and give enough attention to the little muscle groups that I'm keeping muscle in all the right places. So as I get leaner, my physique really starts to shine. And so for you, the big thing I'll tell you is you got to build a plan that works for your schedule. You got to have exercises that you can feel that mind to muscle connection. And this is why it's so important to have coaching and have experts around you that can do all this for you. I've been doing this for guys for the better part of 15 years, coaching guys through our 3M and 3Peak protocols inside of our transformation program. If you're interested in learning more about that, if you're a guy 35, 40, 50s or older who's trying to get lean, lose 20 to 30 pounds in the next 90 days without having to give up work, family, or social life, then check out our program. The links are below if you want to learn more about that. But one of the things I'm adamant about is every guy needs to have a program specifically tailored to him. Following cookie cutter approaches are not going to get you the ultimate result that you're looking for. So once again, for me, what works best, 3 to 4 workouts, less volume, a bigger focus on strength. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is nutrition once again. Nutrition is probably the hardest part for a lot of guys. So I just want to give you the simplistic approach that I'm following this year that I think will make things so much easier than ever before. The 2 things we're going to track is calories and protein. Even if you're going low carb, I still want you to track your total calories and your protein. Now, how do we do this in a way that doesn't require lots of time? Well, this is where our meal rotation system comes into play. What I want you to do is find 4 to 6 meals that you can eat consistently all the time that add up to the calories that you need to get ripped. all right, to get shredded. Now, how many calories should you be eating? Well, that depends on the person. I can't give one blanket statement that's going to work for everybody, but a good starting point is taking the goal body weight that you have in mind that you want to be and timesing that by 10 to 12. That's a pretty aggressive starting point. You're probably going to start dropping weight pretty consistently right out of the gate. Not everybody will, but most guys will. And as you progress, you can make adjustments. And obviously, that's what our team does. We build this all out for you. We make adjustments for you. We take all the guesswork out of it, and we make it super simple and easy to get there. If you're interested in learning about our program, you can check it out in the comments. But nonetheless, make sure, if nothing else, you get inside our free coaching group. That's where we're posting the guides like the peptide guide, the fasting guide, and the basic understanding of nutrition guide, just so you get off on the right foot. The biggest mission I have here is to make fitness sustainable and systemized for you, because I truly believe fitness is the lowest hanging fruit to improving all parts of your life. You know, a lot of problems that we see with guys come down to a few very basic solutions. So we want to provide the solutions to the problems that you're experiencing, from not having enough time, not understanding nutrition, dealing with emotional eating, dealing with stress, feeling like you're being pulled in 20 different directions and you can't stay consistent. All those problems are where we come in and we provide the solutions. So speaking of solutions, I know this spring you might be interested in getting to 10% body fat. That's a big goal that a lot of guys have. So I put together a video for you to watch next. 30% to 10%. What would I do? How would I set it all up? Go check that out. And I know that'll be a really good next step for you to continue to learn this whole process. In the meantime, I'll see you over there on the next video. Life moves fast. Make it count. Talk to you soon. Peace.